You're listening to the Get Off My Soapbox podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We want to make the world a better place and share life-educated opinions and have discussions on various topics. Welcome your host. He is a jack of all trades, master of none, and always wants to know, how's your integrity today? Mad Morgan!
Wednesday night, folks. Happy hump day. Thank you for joining me for episode 19 of Get Off My Soapbox podcast. Hey, I'm your host, Mad Morgan, and thanks for joining me this evening for Get Off My Soapbox. It is midweek. We're heading into the winter blues. We're heading into all that fun part of the holiday season, but also the winter season. So it's blues, but it's cheery. So it really all depends on how you take it. But today, I'm thinking we're going to discuss a few things, especially since it's the holiday season. And what we're discussing, you see a lot more of. So on Get Off My Soapbox today, we are discussing why can't commercials and ads be honest? And do we need them all? I know it's a lot. It's a big title right there, but I'm thinking about it. And we're going to discuss that today on Get Off My Soapbox. So with that being said, hey, how's your integrity been this week so far? You doing good? You've been good since the last time we talked last week. I'm not sure if you listened to my Monday to Friday Soapbox Daily, but if you do, great. Hey, nice to have you here for Get Off My Soapbox. Otherwise, please check us out daily if you so choose. Otherwise, hey, happy to see you from last week if you just listened to Get Off My Soapbox. Speaking of which, please check out GetOffMySoapbox.com for more information on all our shows and upcoming shows down the road. A few announcements I want to make this week before we get into things is okay, I think season 1 of Get Off My Soapbox is going to come to an end next week. We got a little late going in the year when we got off the ground, so we're gonna take season 1 of Get Off My Soapbox just to episode 20, which is going to be next week. And I've decided, well, I'm going to close the year off still doing the videos. I know I mentioned last week that I wasn't going to do the video component anymore, but that doesn't mean we still don't need some support. You know, we still could use some sponsors and some support and some of you lovely people out there that can help us out. If you have a few bucks to keep us going, because, you know, it does cost us each month to keep going out of our pocket. So, you know, anything helps us out. We appreciate that. So thank you very much. But we're going to do the videos for the end of the season. So this is going to be, we're still going to convert this into a video for this week and for next week. We're going to close out the season, and then we're going to take a few weeks off for sure. So season 1, as I mentioned last episode, next week, episode 20. Be here or be square, one or the other, however you want to do it. And as I said, we'll do the video component for today and next week as well, just to close out the season. We're going to start season 2 sometime in the new year. We haven't decided when. We really want to change the format. We really want to get this ball rolling. We want to get some guests. We want to get some other people. I know you love hearing my voice, and I know you love hearing me talk and stuff, but it'd be nice to hear some other voices on that, have some exchanges of ideas. So that's what we're gearing towards. We're going to try to get some co-hosts. If not a co-host, then at least some guests, but we're going to try to figure that out for the new year. So sometime in the new year, I'm not saying the first week of the new year, but sometime in the new year of 2023, we will get going with season 2. Of course, Get Off My Soapbox will be returning, so never fear. As far as Soapbox Daily goes, we will, of course, do the Monday to Friday for that. That's going to be ongoing. There's no seasons there. It's just episode after episode after episode, so no seasons there. But we are going to take the last week of December off for Soapbox Daily moving forward. Just last week of December, we're going to take that off, and then we'll continue on just after New Year. Just so you know, Soapbox Daily will continue on minus the last week. But as far as Get Off My Soapbox go, as I mentioned, it will when it will. Season 2, next year. Okay, enough about that. Let's get into today's episode. Well, as I said, I hope your integrity's been good. I hope you've been the positive change the world needs. And hey, as always, I'm your host, Mad Morgan. Let's get into today's show. Commercials and advertising. And, you know, the biggest thing I've always wondered about commercials and advertising is this. Some of the stuff that get advertised, why is there even a commercial for it? I mean, who's not buying toilet paper? Realistically, who is not buying toilet paper? Who really needs to see an advertisement for toilet paper? I mean, do you have to be reminded? Do you have to see an advertisement? Do you have to see a commercial? How about a commercial with bears wiping their butts? Blue bears. Not just any bear, but blue bears wiping their butts, talking about how soft it is. I just don't know. I just don't see who's needing to be reminded to buy toilet paper that there has to be commercials for it. It's just funny. But it's the funniest thing. I've always wondered, And I think I saw a movie on this once about honest advertising. Who was in it? I think it was, what was his name? Pet detective guy there. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Jim Carrey. Yeah. Yeah, it was like honesty. It was complete honest advertising. And it was just way too much. But I mean, I just don't know. If I have to see another car commercial, I'm gonna just scream. If I have to see another toilet paper commercial, I'm just gonna scream. And if it's not overdone commercials, I mean, honestly, you have a vehicle, you keep a vehicle as long as you can. Do you really need to see another vehicle and another vehicle? And what makes it worse is that these aren't even improvements to help the climate and stuff. Some of them are, but otherwise it's just, oh, check out the bells and whistles, and it does this and it does that, and it speaks to you. And it's like, it's a car. I don't understand what the big deal is, because there's some cars that people buy that they shouldn't even buy because they shouldn't even be driving. Like, I don't know, like certain manufacturers of vehicles are bought by really stupid people. For instance, BMW drivers, majority of them are the worst drivers on the road, next to Audis. Just terrible. They should put that in their commercials. Hey, come buy a BMW. Great car, good quality, and you'll even get a license to be a stupid and bad driver. I mean, that would be some honest advertisement. Realistically, that's honest advertisement 101 right there. Just speak the reality of what it's going to be. You know, if you buy that product or that vehicle or whatever it is, speak the honesty about it. I mean, how many advertisements do you see in your life? I mean, believe it or not, the average person, and now this isn't factual, this is from one of my sources, some of my research, the average person sees about 280 and 310 advertisements a day. Okay, maybe if you're glued to your phone, or maybe if you're surfing the web a lot, or you're watching a lot of TV, but I think those are kind of exaggerated. I mean, I don't see that many advertisements, but then again, if you visit a web page, you're bound to at least see 3 of them. If you go anywhere online, yeah, well, maybe there's some truth to that. I don't know about that kind of pushing the 300 advertisements a day, but yeah, if you actually sit back and think about it, there's ads all over the place in your face. All over the place. And I guess we don't even realize it because, believe it or not, the products you buy are ads too, because you bought them. And they're advertising because you look in your cupboard and they're there. It's kind of an ad too. It all depends, I guess, the way you look at it. You know, not just the commercials, not just the billboards, not just in print, not just online. I guess newspapers, magazines, all that. Yeah, I guess there is a lot of advertisements out there, like a bombardment about them. I mean, don't get me wrong, advertisements are a great way for people to make you aware of products and issues and more, but advertising just become a problem, in my opinion. I mean, everybody has seen those ads where advertisers try to convince the consumer that the product will make their life like 10 times better, and their life won't be better until they buy the product. You know, the advertiser's intentions are to get you to try, you know, the advertisers try to get into your mind is what they try to do, and just influence you, your thoughts and decisions. I mean, that's also where influencers come into effect. The modern way of doing advertisement is getting some, you know, teenager, blah, 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 half dressed and everything else, and doing stupid stuff to promote a product. That's a new way of getting advertisers. You know, that way you can get the products in the hands of that age category because they want to relate to the person that's dancing around acting stupid with this product because they feel that's going to be a cool thing for them to do. So they're going to go and get the product too. There's a whole new level of advertisements now. You know, it's a matter of take it from billboards and magazines to have people make little videos and pictures and everything else advertising the products because these people get seen because of other things that they do that interest people. The whole thing has just got out of hand. I mean, obviously the influencers want to do it because they get free stuff. That's why they're doing it, or they're getting a paycheck. Woohoo, there you go. That's what they want to do. Hey, if you can make the money, why not? So advertisements like cars and insurance, medicine, beverages, and political commercials often try to influence the consumer. They really do. They just try to influence you so many different ways. I mean, advertising is harmful to society because of its strong influence. Weak-minded people are convinced that if they buy that product, if they buy that car, they're going to be cool. They're going to be like the people on the commercials. What I love is perfume commercials. It's always some overly made up guy that's all buff and has been working out of the gym, 20 hours a day, and he's all buff and he's oiled up, and they have this fancy bottle and this mystical type background, and then this really cool music and all this stuff like that. And it's pretty much selling it, hey, if you buy this cologne, you will be like this person here, like this guy here, or this woman here. Buy it and you'll be this. This could be you. Just gotta buy our product. That's it. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's overkill. We don't even need half the products we buy. We really don't. I mean, you really have to sit down and be smart about, do I really need this? There's no magic cure, folks. I hate to tell you, there's no magic cure, for buying a certain thing or buying a certain product or doing a certain service. I mean, there's nothing that's going to be magic. Just because you buy that car doesn't mean you're going to be cool and your life's going to change and you're going to be a model and popular and famous. Just because you get that, I don't know. There's just so many products out there. I think you really have to sit down and go, what are they selling me a bunch of BS? I mean, it's not going to magically change your world. What I really hate is certain commercials like those Airbnb type commercials. It's just like some magic family moment and togetherness and love and just inspirational and it's awe-inspiring and life-changing and everything else. But what if they turned around and actually told you the truth? Came up and some guy, this is back to the truth in advertising. Other than the overindulgence of advertising, what about just the truth in advertising and going, some guy comes on and goes, hey, so yeah, somebody, it's a nice house. They want you to stay in it so they can charge you some rent for a week or a couple days. So that's basically it. Come stay. There might be some cameras, there might be some secret stuff you don't know about, but take a chance. Come, it's a good stay. I mean, why not just be completely honest about it? Think about it. I mean, just be blunt, straight to the point. I have to say, one of my bigger annoyances is these pickup trucks. People buy trucks and they don't need trucks, but they talk about how powerful they are and how mighty they are and how the towing power is, and they look all massive and rugged and they're bought by little wannabe little boys that never grew up that frankly have no need for a truck whatsoever because they work at Starbucks and they don't do anything with the truck portion of it. They just like to feel powerful behind the wheel of the truck and be complete idiots on the road, pushing people around. Basically it. Why not just come out and be truthful on that advertisement of, hey, if you want to feel strong and mighty on the road, you should buy yourself a Ram truck because Ram trucks are for powerful, tough guys who like to boss people around on the road. I don't know. I think advertisement just makes us feel good. I don't know. I think advertising just makes us feel that we're not good enough as we are. I think that's what it comes down to. Advertising just make us feel that way. It just hits home. I mean, yes, we have an economic system in which people have to make money to survive. The evils of money, I just think I can't wait till the day that hopefully we evolve to the point where we don't use money anymore. Hopefully we get to the point where we realize money is just the root of all evil. But unfortunately, our economic system is we need to make money in order to survive. No matter how manipulative we can be with our techniques, that we use to achieve that. And this can be clearly seen in the advertising industry. They don't cut any corners. I mean, yes, legalities, they have to be careful because they don't want to get sued or lawsuits or anything like that against them. So they have to play around with their words and play around with the truth. I mean, yeah, I get it. To sell your stuff, advertisements first have to make you feel like crap. I mean, take a look. I mean, they kind of imply that your life sucks, but it can get so much better if you buy this product. Okay? Like, you're missing out right now. Your life is miserable, but if you buy this product, you're good. Okay? I mean, how do they make you feel like crap? To begin with, all right? By showing you what the ideal life is supposed to be, and then making you compare your ordinary life to it. That's how they do it. Okay? This way, they slowly lead you to believe that you're not beautiful, intelligent, confident, and so on, until they fully convince you that you basically suck. I know, right? How negative, how sad is that? I mean, the reason to make you feel insecure so that they can emotionally manipulate you. That's what they do. They got to convince you your life sucks up to this point, but it could be so much better. Okay? I mean, advertisements, I don't know. They just make it seem like there's an answer for everything, that everything we need is for sale. You know? I mean, another serious ill effect of advertising is that it feeds us with the wrong impression that everything we need can be bought, and hence that money should be our measure of success and prime goal in life. Which is, again, manipulation, keeps the money mill rolling, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Without shopping, advertisements tell you that you can't find contentment. Thus, advertisements are fueling your desire to work like a slave just so you can spend your hard-earned money on things that you would ultimately leave you to disappointment and dissatisfied. Not all the time, but realistically. So think about it. You see an advertisement, you see a product, you thought that was pretty cool. So you work your ass off to save the money to be able to buy said product. You were convinced in the advertisement, because the way they manipulated everything and enticed you, that yes, this will change your life. And then you finally save up enough money to actually buy said product, only to be realized that, oh, this is not all I thought it was going to be. Now, not all products are like that, realistically. If you actually sit back and think to yourself, do I need it? Do I need it? What would it do for my life? And you got to be careful about knee-jerk reactions for stuff, thinking you need stuff without actually thinking it through. I think that started with me when I started getting in my being a creator, social media beginnings a few years back. I went ballistic. All these advertisements. Oh, you need this. You need that. You need this. You need that. Oh, you should get this because this will do this for you. And then you see the do-it-yourself videos, and then you see all these professionals. And they have this. They have that. So you get all this stuff, and you put it all together because you were convinced through all the commercials and advertisements and the hype and everything else that they told you that yes, this is going to be perfect because you have all this stuff. And you're going to be sensational. You're going to be excellent. And once you put it all together, the end result is, nope, you were just sold snake oil. That was it. You were basically convinced through advertisements and commercials that this would change your life. And you made the purchase. They got your money. And now it doesn't work. It doesn't work out as well as you thought it would, because you were sold something because you were convinced, and it's not everything you cracked out to be. Meanwhile, they have your money, you don't, end of story. I don't know. I mean, advertising and commercials just makes us associate happiness with consumerism. I mean, that's what it does. I mean, after they've achieved to ruin our self-esteem, advertisements are trying to fool us into thinking that only products and services can make us feel better. In other words, advertisements create a problem and then offer a solution for it. It's magic. They have the magic answer, the magic cure. The magic cure being shopping. I don't know. Unless it says it's shopping or it's just getting their product. I mean, they make you feel ugly, and then they sell you beauty products to improve on your ugliness. And once they make you feel subtly, that you are not important, they sell you expensive clothes so you can attract the attention of others, and so on and so forth. And they told two friends, and so on. In short, advertisements promise you happiness, provided that you spend money in return. The result? Consuming stuff you don't need and supporting the product of unnecessary waste that is polluting our planet. Realistically, that's kind of why I have all this stuff. Not a lot of stuff, but I haven't thrown anything out. And I try to avoid polluting the planet. But think about it. Okay, have you ever seen those? I'm pretty sure you've seen those videos where people could buy these Amazon return pallets, right? Like big pallets of stuff, like shipping crates, boom, with a whole bunch of stuff on it. This is stuff that people have bought because they were convinced through advertising and commercials that they needed this stuff. But thankfully, they met that window that they could return it, and they returned it. And this stuff gets thrown in a pile and then sold in bulk to whoever's willing to pay for that particular crate. And guess what? If it's not junk by that point, it usually will end up in waste and in landfill. And in other areas, not that you think it's going, you guys think it's going somewhere, but it's not always going somewhere, because it all depends if it's profitable. That's where advertisements and commercials come into effect on another scale. Now, let's just not just look at products. Let's look at services as well. You know, heaven forbid a service should actually be honest with you. Forget about products, because we all know that products can lie. Yes, the makeup's not going to make you instantly beautiful. You know, that new TV's not going to make anything magically happen. Those clothes are not going to make you the next Kardashian or something. I mean, it's just, no, that's not how it works. It doesn't magically work that way. But that's just products. I think we have a pretty good grasp on the products. My only advice when it comes to products, like actually buying products, really think whether or not you need it. Really think do you really need it in my life? Because don't be under this illusion that it's actually going to do something magical for you to turn your life around complete 180 and just be awesome at that point. There's no magic to anything, okay? Well, there is, but there's not. Buying products is not going to be magic. There's no car you can buy that's going to make your life, make you famous and everything else. It just doesn't work that way. But let's go to services. Honesty in services. I think services should have a level of honesty. Products are one thing. Okay, I can understand you embellish the truth and you convince people of a product, but what about services? Speaking, of course, of the environment, right? Speaking of service, the environment, services that are supposed to be there to actually do a good thing, like recycling. There should be some honesty as far as that goes, right? I know it's funny because they don't really advertise recycling. You don't really find the garbage company actually advertising that they're a garbage company. You don't see that on TV. I've never seen that on TV. Do you ever notice that? You've never seen a garbage company on TV. Oh, yes, we're Jack's Garbage. We pick up your garbage every week. No, you'll see like these 1-800-GOT-JUNKS or something like that. Those are specialty type, mercenary type garbage removers. But back when it comes to like the city recycling and the city garbage and everything else, what about if there's truth in those services? Sadly, I found that, all these products that we end up buying and we throw away, or they break and we throw them out, they don't always get recycled. What ends up happening is that if they don't meet certain conditions, believe it or not, everything that goes to the recycling plant doesn't always get recycled. If it doesn't meet certain conditions, it goes in the landfill, or it goes the way of the garbage, the rest of the garbage. But who knows what happens with that. But yeah, that's kind of concerning. Like you think, okay, I buy the product, I don't use the product, I break the product, or whatever the case may be, and I throw it into recycling, it's going to be recycled, it's not going to hurt the earth, everything's good. But what if the recycling company told you the truth of the conditions that are required because it's not financially worthwhile? They don't make enough profit if they have to separate certain recycled items or wash them or whatever the case may be. It's not profitable for them, so they don't do it. So they rather hurt the earth because it's hurting their bottom line. It's hurting their profits. So think about the whole domino effect that I've always talked about in my episodes, my shows. There's a domino effect. So you fall for the advertisements, you buy the products, you don't use the products, you throw out the products, or the products break and you throw them out, and then you think you're going to be good, you're going to recycle them, and they're going to go to the recycling place, but they don't get recycled because it's not profitable for them. Again, root of all evil, money. It just comes down to that. I think that there should be, for every service, there should be a commercial, but an honest commercial. Now, think about if we were just honest. I mean, we don't need all these commercials, first of all, but the commercials that we do have, why not just be honest? You don't have to make commercials magically. Just come on and say, hey, guess what? We sell these makes of trucks and cars. They're awesome. Here's the highlights. Come buy one. These are the positives of it. Oh, and here are some of the negatives. Come down and see us. None of this movie intro type special effects and booms and car, like just explosions and this and that and like models coming. I mean, no, none of that stuff. Just come out and give us the facts. That might just work. Just complete honesty. Think about completely honest commercials. I think that would be something that'd be really good. And what about, I don't know, removing commercials that we really don't need? Like, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we don't need toilet paper commercials. Who's not buying toilet paper? Doesn't make sense. Think about that for 1 second. I don't know. I think it's just overhyped, over-dramatized, oversold, over-manipulation when it comes to commercials. I mean, just be honest in the commercial. Let's try that for a change. Let's be blatantly honest. Not just all the good stuff. Let's be honest, put some of the bad stuff in there. Because not every product's perfect. Not every service is perfect. But at least the consumer knows what they're getting into, what they're spending their money on. I know it doesn't make a fast buck for all the con artists and scammers and rich people out there. You can't be honest about that stuff because that's just wrong, because it won't sell the product and people won't buy it or won't buy the service. Well, then why don't you have some ethical products? Why don't you try being honest? Why don't you try, I don't know, between the ethics and sustainability and human rights? I mean, all this stuff. Ethical consumerism is becoming a big priority for many customers. People want to feel assured that they are purchasing, what they are purchasing is sustainable and ethically produced. Just be honest about it. Be honest about your ingredients, your product components, your supply chain, your manufacturing. I mean, all this stuff like that. What kind of impact is it going to have on the world? On the environment, stuff like that. I mean, these are all stuff that I think if you actually emphasize that kind of stuff a little more, it might just sell your product for you. Hey, hold up a box. Here's the product. It does this. It's, and here's some good things about it. Just so you know, we do it right. We make it correctly. We pay people a good wage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Too much time exploiting emotions. Getting an emotional reaction from consumers is one of the most effective ways to generate interest. I mean, that could backfire on you. What if for some reason something that you are thinking is going to promote some amazing emotion is actually provoking some negative emotion in somebody? That's just going to really hurt your bottom line. I mean, consumers want their emotions to be sympathized with, not manipulated. Careful about the backfiring on that one. Careful about how much you try to convince somebody that, they're ugly unless they buy this particular dress or this outfit or this particular brand. I don't know. And also be honest about, anything is what can I say about this? You see some TV shows and they put product placement in their shows. I think they should be a little more honest about the fact that those products were placed in that show. These advertisements were put in there by the sponsor. Like, probably state that it was sponsored rather than subliminally putting it in there to influence people. Stop manipulating. Just be honest about your advertisement. And again, no more toilet paper commercials. We've had enough of those. I don't know. And also a lack of exaggeration. Just stop exaggerating about your product. I mean, I'm sorry, but some of these just are over the top. But some of them are really well done. I'm gonna have to applaud some commercials that I see out there. They really hit home, but they really keep you entertained. And they're not really embellishing. They're not exaggerating. They're pretty much saying, hey, here it is. It's fun. It's good. It might just make a difference for yourself. You might just like it. Go for it. Not trying to throw some magical spell your way to make it look like your life is going to be extraordinary and over the top and sensational because you bought the product or the service. There's no magic as far as that goes. There's no product you can buy that's going to make that big of a difference in your life unless for some reason it's something you truly need. Then it's going to make your life a little easier and that's going to make your life better. But if it's something that you're buying whimsically, you probably regret it. And then you regret paying the money for it because you're going to buy it and it's not going to be everything that the advertisement promised. I don't know. And we don't need all these commercials. We really don't. It's overdone. It's overdone. And as I've always said, if you've been following a lot of my episodes, if it seems too good to be true, it's not. There's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of manipulation out there. Advertisements should be regulated more. I really believe in that because a lot of people are trying to pull fast ones and they're just snake oil salesmen and they're just trying to sell you something that isn't anywhere close to the way they're presenting it. So just be careful about where you buy from, services and products, where you buy from, who you buy from. Don't fall for the magic fairy dust. Don't fall for that. Really take a good look. Take a good look at the commercial. Take a good look at the service. Take a good look at the products. Take a good look at all this stuff. And then cross-reference. And then cross-reference again. And then see if you can get it somewhere else. And then do some research on the product to see where its origins are. See whether or not the advertisements are actually telling the truth. See what reviews say. See what other people say about the product or the service. Really dig in. I mean, unless you just want to throw money out the window, then hey, I'll give you a mailing address. You could just send the money to me because I could use some support for the show. Or over on Patreon. But you can check out all my links on GetOffMySoapbox.com. They're all there. If you want to put money towards a worthwhile cause, by all means, please support us. We're here every week on our time to make the world a better place, and that's what we're here to do. So rather than waste your money on those products or services, why don't you go on, check out our links on GetOffMySoapbox.com or Patreon, and we also have PayPal donations if you want to help us out that way. But, if you want to waste money, you're not wasting money if you put it into us. But if you want to buy that magic sprinkler gun because you think it's going to make your plants grow magically, well, that's on you. That's on you. But thankfully, services like Amazon have really good return policies. But be careful because you return it might end up on one of those shipping crates and might eventually end up in landfill. And then wouldn't you feel bad? And then you'd have to have another commercial to tell you how bad your life is and how you should buy their new product because it's going to make your life 10 times better. Okay, so that's about it. I don't know. My word to the companies out there is why don't you try a little honesty? Cut through all the BS, cut through all the emotional, cut through all the dramatics and the theater and the soundtracks and the, explosions and all this BS. And just come right out, give the pros and cons of your product and why it's ethical and why it's good and why you should buy it for the honest reasons. Don't exploit emotions. Don't exploit all that. Don't prey on the simple-minded. Commit to sustainability. think about the world as a whole. Make a difference in the world, because that's going to sell your product. And hopefully one day we don't have to worry about money, so we won't necessarily be selling products. People will just be wanting the products, and they'll be mainstream. Who knows? Anyways, I'm just going to leave that with the advertisers. As far as you folks go, hey, it is the holiday season. You're going to be bombarded with so many advertisements. And some of them, especially online, are not going to be legit. They're going to be fraudulent. They're going to be scams, so be careful. As I said, if it seems too good to be true, it's not. So be cautious out there. All right. And yeah, don't forget that toilet paper. Make sure to buy that toilet paper just in case you forgot. You know, I know you've seen about 5 different commercials for toilet paper. But make sure you pick up some before Christmas. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up. This was kind of fun. I don't know. I've seen way too many commercials. I mean, I could list them, but I just don't want to. I don't want to cut my potential for advertisers or sponsors down the road, but I don't know. I just think some commercials just really, some companies and services just really need to take a realistic approach and be honest and see how that works out for them, because I think some of these commercials infuriate me more because of how much they're manipulating than actually. I mean, I've actually boycotted products because they've went too far. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not worried about Airbnb sponsoring me. I just think their commercials are way over the top, and I just want to throw something at the TV. I really do. That's how frustrated they make me, because they just make it seem like it's all magical and it's all going to come together, and it just doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, I'm your host, Matt Morgan. This is going to be, as I said, second last episode for season 1. Next week is going to be the last season. No, sorry. Let's back that up. Next week's going to be the last episode of season 1, and season 2 will pick up again sometime after the new year. And we'll do the video for tonight, and we'll do the video for next week as well, just to wrap up the season 1 of Get Off My Soapbox. But as I mentioned, hey, Soapbox Daily will continue as always, Monday to Friday, minus the last week of December, because I'm taking that time off for family, because family's important. So, yeah. So there you go. That's how it is. And as always, hey, we need you. We need you. If you can spare some few bucks each month, we could use some sponsors. We could use some support. I'm not here begging. I'm just telling you how it is. You know, it's a cost out of my pocket each month between time and money, but I do it because I'm here for you. I'm here for the show. I'm here to make a difference in the world. And, you know, educate, entertain, enlighten, evolve. That's what I'm here to help everybody else out with. But you know what? If you could alleviate some of the financial costs, it would be welcomed, and I appreciate it in advance. That's it for this week's Get Off My Soapbox podcast. I'm your host, Matt Morgan. Have yourself a terrific rest of the day, a terrific week if I don't talk to you until next week. And if I talk to you tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow for Soapbox Daily. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Other than that, bye for now. Until next episode.
That's all for this episode of Get Off My Soapbox podcast. Appreciate you tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, please share it with others, post it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from Mad Morgan, head over to GetOffMySoapbox.com for links and details. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow so you don't miss the next episode.